Good day, folks, and welcome to my new show called Look What I Made. It's basically, I've got a multitude of skill sets. I've been building stuff since I was a little kid. If I couldn't buy it, which is usually out of my price range, I built my own. So, it's something that's always been a passion of mine, and I've learned a multitude of skills. And I thought, I've had a lot of friends tell me I should make a YouTube channel. I'm like, what am I going to make a YouTube channel out of? Me drinking coffee and screwing around in the shop. Well, here we are. So, coffee, I finished my coffee, so here we are back to working around in the shop. My project today is my 81 Cutlass Supreme. I am doing a frame-off restoration on it, and since I learned how to weld about a month ago, about a month, I've kind of gone crazy on making my own stuff. If you're watching this video now, you might already be aware that the transmission cross members for the 81, the Cutlass Supremes, the Cutlass G bodies in general, Monte Carlos, Regals, all of them, only have a hump on one side for the exhaust to go through. So if you want to run true dual exhaust straight off from headers, you're out of luck unless you want to try and go underneath and hope you don't scrape the ground. Another thing is you need a different cross member for every the different transmission. So I've got a TH350 and I got a 204R, and it takes a different cross member for each one. I'm putting in the 350 right now because I know it works, and the 400, 204R I'm just going to fix up and put in later. Anywho, so now instead of buying two different cross members or making two different cross members, I figured out how to make one cross member that'll work for virtually any transmission you really want to put in this car. So without further ado, here we go. There's the car. 81 Cutlass, got a Edelbox suspension kit on it, I-box springs, ooh yeah, all kinds of shiny stuff. And I boxed the frame in with 1/8" steel plate. And you can see here, this here is where the frame rail ends originally, and these are the bolt holes for the TH350. When you've got a 83 or 84 and up, you've got a cross member that comes back here as well. Sometimes, a lot of times, there's a gap in between these though. So what I've done, when you go to buy a cross member for a 400, because the mounting, the tranny mount is further back, the cross member is shaped differently, and you need this extension to go if you got an 81 or 2, 3, I can't remember for sure, but anyway, what I've done is I made my own frame extension out of the 1.5 by 3 that I made the cross member out of, and I welded it on top and bottom, did a bend here. Also, I welded 1/8" plate underneath, inside, and when I brought it through, I used these original holes and I welded the plate to that as well, giving it a bit more strength. Just makes me feel better. So now I've got it all welded all through here, up here, and extra gussets inside there. To the passenger side, these here are the original bolts. These here are the bolts I set up for the 350 because the two different transmissions have different mounting areas. The tail shaft is the same length, the drive shaft swaps over. The only change you really got to do in this section is the different cross member moved back because the mount's further back. So I came up with this. Came up with this 1.5 by 3 square tubing. It's really strong, and it's one of the easier to find sizes. You notice these here on the ends are a different height than here. That's because the transmission sits a little lower than the tops of these. Just set that in like so. Right now it's set up for the 204R or the TH400 if you're that inclined to put it in a G body. Move it forward. into these holes, and you're set up for the TH350. If you're doing a T5 conversion, basically you just have, I believe the T5 is even further forward for the transmission mount. So you just make a couple holes here and here to accommodate for the different positioning of the transmission crossmember. As you can see here, it's plenty strong, and you got clearance for both sides. You got to make sure the driver's side is lower. It's harder to figure out when you don't have a body on the frame, but this here is set up for the catalytic converter side, so it's a little higher, but the floor on this side is actually lower, so you will hit your floor if you have them even, that's for sure. Now, I said before about the different heights, so I used the original cross member, had the transmission in, and I measured from the ground, from the floor, the height to the top. And then I measured to the top here from the floor and added a 1/4 inch. And then that's how I split the difference between the two. It's if you draw it out on a big chunk of cardboard and use that as your template, that's probably your best bet. And there you go. So hopefully that helps people who are figuring out their dual cross member for their G-body, because, well, it sure works for me. Anywho, take care. Have a good day, folks.